the expectation right here. This is much more of a fun banter conversation. And we want to actually try and encourage the thinking around love marriage versus arranged marriage for, to get the dialogue going. So in as much as you want to joke around about it, or you want to actually have a nudge or a nice little elbow push to your partner on the other side, feel free to do that. Start with the introduction very quickly. So we've got couples from all age groups and representing both the arranged marriage camp and the love marriage camp. So in the young love marriage camp, we have Chaitra and Vish, who have, wrong introduction, young arranged marriage camp, we have Chaitra and Vish, who are in arranged marriage representation here. In the older camp, sorry, I should not use the word older, the more experienced camp of arranged marriage, we have Deepak and Sushma Bhan, my parents, who are proponents for arranged marriage. On the love marriage young camp, we have, or the newer B camp, we have Ashwini and Dennis. Dennis, you're like disappearing and appearing. This is not going to work well for your marriage. You got a whole plan. And in the more experienced camp of love marriage, we've got Sandhya and Pramod, who come with years of experience on love marriage. So actually, I'm going to make love marriage camp first. So marriage is a lifelong commitment, right? Shouldn't the decision of who you choose to spend the rest of your life be sitting in your hands? Hence, kind of vote love marriage. Dennis, Ashwini, let me start with you guys. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I would just say it's destiny that we got and we were lucky to get a chance to choose someone we wanted to be with, but it was not something which we wanted it that way. It just happened. It's just, destiny and luck that we found each other,
right?
And felt that we wanted to be with each other.
Dennis, this might be a subliminal message. 13 years.
Hold on, I'm going to change.
I like the way he was looking at her.
It's too funny. I'm like 13 years and he's evaporating slowly. Oh my God.
Oh my God, believe me, I just don't know what magic happened. Ours was yes. He was 6 and I was 3 when we fell in love with each other.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wait, I think this thing. My God.
6 and 3, that's appropriate.
Like Mary had a little lamb, So I just couldn't place my eyes on anybody else. So I knew it was him when I was 3 years old. So that's how the hearts connect, I guess.
Wow.
Sandhya, once whistle podu for that, please.
Whistle podu.
Oh, wow.
It was not entirely up to our elders because at the end of it, we both agreed to get married. So only thing was it was arranged.
So it's a hybrid. So you're saying kind of they did a little bit of networking for you, but ultimately whether you want to take the job was down to the two of you. Is it?
I think in our case, our parents, to be more precise, was the mothers, who decided on meeting and deciding on it. And then we did have a chance to meet each other before we actually said yes to each other. We did also meet, but it was the moms who had decided already on it.
Oh, I see. So the mothers had decided. And
Yeah.
then two of you meet. Did you really have an option out of it? Okay.
That is Sushma's story.
But
My story is actually, mine is a love marriage come arranged marriage. Let me explain. Which will be true for everybody who's participating here. There is always a personality of you which rests inside you. So there is one that is you entity which is physically moving around, and there is your core, which is your inner personality. Okay, so your first love marriage is with your own personality. So whether we do right or wrong or choose paths in our life to do whatever, we do that very conscious that we will not let down the personality that is in you.
Mhm.
I hope what I'm
Yes.
hope
Going
I'm
on a
I'm
very
little clear.
philosophical path there. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why it makes it'll make little better content and better sense when I explain that mine was a love marriage of me with myself, and marriage happens to be one particular activity, one particular aspect of my personality life. All right.
14 years we're married. So you know in our 14 years, I assume you know a lot about him, if not everything about him. What keeps it going? What keeps it interesting? What keeps it going? Other than him disappearing every now and then.
I guess it's, I would say the relationship always stands on, this is our personal belief, whether it's love marriage or arranged marriage, it stands on honesty and trust.
Right.
I think if these two factors are missing, then I think it, the whole relationship collapses. So I think that is what is keeping us going, apart from, of course, showing affection and love, which is part of every marriage. But I guess the trust and honesty is what
That's kind of your top
keeps
of
us
the
driving.
priority list.
That's the top for us. Yeah.
A bit of everything
Okay.
for the marriage to work out. Doesn't matter if it's love or arranged. So you need a bit of spice, sweet, bitter, sour,
Right.
and
So, to be very honest, like even today, I'm very childlike. I've got a lot of child in me, even at this age.
Yeah.
So, we had a chance. We had a 5 seconds chance. Like my dad-in-law, he was taking us out for lunch, and I got a 5-second chance to be alone with him for in that little time. And the first thing I told him, I love you. We had just got engaged, kind. So I told him I love you, and the answer he gave me, and the lunch had not been ordered as yet. That. So he's saying, it can't happen. Love grows with time. I don't love you. It will grow with. There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of honesty, and there's a lot of care. You have to care for each other. So I think I put care in the first priority. If you start showing care to each other, and obviously everything dwells around it, and honesty and trust remains there as a pillar.
As a constant. Okay. So I see a lot of spice, and it's interesting because from the arranged marriage camp, I hear, you need to have a little bit of everything to keep the marriage going. And from the love marriage camp so far, I've got trust and honesty. So the other aspects of it, which is something that comes naturally in a love marriage, is something that you guys are talking about from an arranged marriage perspective as being important, because that's not something that naturally came as part of the relationship. Maybe with that.
I would say more than anything, it would be mutual respect, which tops everything. You have to respect the other person, respect his space, respect his privacy. As you correctly mentioned, truth, trust and honesty, caring they are the pillars of marriage. So, but mutual respect to the individual person who is your partner, that is very, very essential, I feel, along with all this. And
he's doing his bit.
Yeah. I mean, we are like, he starts a sentence and I finish it, or I start a sentence, and if there has to be a comma, he knows where to end it.
That's brilliant.
It is 7 जन्मों तक work in progress रहता है, but 1 जन्म तक रखो. So, but coming.
Lawyer ready?
Yeah.
After the talk? Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Lawyer or undertaker?
Whatever.
Anyway. What I was saying is, no, as Jati, you were saying about compromise, and yes, let me explain. Let us say, for instance, it is not possible for me to like everything about my wife, and vice versa. It is impossible. Between the two. So, the more spectrum you have, the more beautiful the music is. Different temperaments. If both of us are pessimists, God save us. So if somebody is pessimist and an optimist, is a good combination. If Ram went to Lanka Why did he go to Lanka? Why did he fight a war with this thing? Did he take all the trouble just for a lady? Yeah. Or did he take the trouble to get the lady because there is something inside him which said, no, this is not acceptable, and therefore I have to go?
So, in my opinion, all marriages are arranged. Okay. So it depends on who arranges it. If Tinder arranges it, or if your stupid friends arrange it, or if you arrange it on your own, or if your parents arrange it, or your loved ones arrange it.
Right.
So if I have these options, who would be the best person? I think would arrange beautiful bride for me is my parents. That's the answer. That's my go-to answer.
Of their marriage, so they know what the long-term ups and downs are that they should be watching out for, and also they've done their background check and the due diligence before they presented a case to you. So it's like kind of gone through the loops and bounds. But then I'd ask the same question to you, Ashwini and Dennis. So here they have the support of a much wider set of people who are watching out and looking at all the ups and downs, right? They're able to see much longer term. You guys meet each other, and actually same question for Sandhya and Pramod, who loved each other from 6 and 3 years old, right? How do you see the long-term thing, and how do you know, like, you don't have an infatuation? How do you know that this is like love and this means, this is going to meaningfully last a lifetime? How do you guys do that?
Well, in our case, I think we were pretty old enough to make the decision when we met each other. It was like when 20 years old. And then I think when we connected.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
So when we spoke and connected, there was, that feeling and that the person is the right one for me. Only when it's not when we speak once. Obviously, it is over the period of time.
Right.
When we know the person, how he is, what he thinks of, what he thinks and how he is when we get to know that this is a person I can live with,
right,
and want to live with. So that's my perspective, unless you want to add something.
So basically, I would say arranged marriage is more convenient. All those boxes are checked. You have a safety net. You can always fall back and look back and look at your dad and mom, and then wonder what's going on if there's a fight or something like that, right? Or a disagreement. So basically, I was not into at that point looking for anybody to get married to. I was our stars kind of collided at a point where I meet a lot of people. So I kind of it's not like I was deprived of social networking. I was kind of networked so well that I had no time to kind of have coffee with somebody or interact or get to know somebody. But it's just that, and she gave me her dad's number, and I asked her. She was kind, So the point you have to take here is certain values and the person has or has got from her grandmother or her parents, and then I think it's that personality that kind of got me so much attracted to her. I forgot to look at her hair, and
had you only seen.
No, seriously, I just didn't. No, she's got beautiful hair, but now, okay. But I'm just saying that I didn't look at those
the physical aspect.
Because when my dad went for an arranged marriage, he wanted a woman with a long hair. My mom had a long hair all the way, I think to her heels.
Oh my God!
Yeah, she was very pretty at that time, and even now she's very pretty. My mom.
Yeah.
So my dad had very set goals about the woman he wanted to live with, but and then they were, it was an arranged marriage, but then they had a lot of personality conflicts and issues because my mom is a very strong personality. My dad is a very soft personality, kind of,
Right.
but he's got his own viewpoints. But for me, it was like, wow, she's nice. I meet a lot of kind people, but it's just that I think the way she kind of described her grandmother, and I miss my grandmother a lot. My
Right.
grandmother raised me, so I think I was getting attracted to Manikya-ji a lot, and she was, it was her grandmother.
He
kind
loved
of-
my grandmother more than me.
He always spoke very highly about you.
Yeah, so it's just, I think the conversation is the grandmother.
Right.
Yeah, because that is exactly what Vishwas was trying to, I think, say. They have a long-term plan for you. So here is a person who's already coming from that kind of a background
Right.
with a very good family network and very good, very well nurtured person.
Right.
And then we just continued our journey as friends. We may not be those ideal couples who ran around trees and bushes and sang songs to each
Ideal
other. Yeah.
Seeing the backgrounds and cultures they are coming from and
Yeah.
finding commonalities which suited their personalities. So I see it from that point of view. But just if somebody who's just finished college and sees a beautiful girl and says,
Yeah.
I'm infatuated, I just want to marry this, I say, baby, you will, poor Ram, poor chap ended up in the forest for 14 years for no fault of his. Right? His safety net pushed him into the forest. Was that actually required? In what manner did it help? So yes, those of us who are lucky not to have, that kind of a unfortunate safety net, yes, fine. But I would say primarily it is the husband and wife who must treat their marriage as an entity for which they are responsible themselves. And even if you have a social net like Ram had, then be vigilant to make sure that such net can only allow positive energy to come to your relationship. The moment you see anything negative coming in, cut that out and throw it out. Because marriage can survive without a net, but so
can't
can
survive
that
without
survive without marriage. He has to go as a brahmachari with that umbrella. He has to start
Yeah.
walking, saying, I will adopt brahmacharism. And then the girl's father goes pleading, I'll give you my daughter, please come back to the real world. So he was not aware. Then they said, please stop him. He said, what is this? He said, no, you have to tell him I'm giving you my daughter. So Balaji had already reached the wall, dead end. So he said, let him go to hell.
So that's a lovely story to end the session with. Thank you for sharing that. And again, can't thank you all enough for joining me on the podcast. We'll be summarizing the conversation, but it was super fun. Really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I'll speak to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye all.